And we're just kind of discussing, processing, chewing on, thinking about, talking about, what happened last night, where this country goes. What's next? Donna in Minneapolis, listening on AM 950. Hey, Donna, what's up?
Well, first of all, I can say it. I am so pissed. I am so pissed. Such a lost opportunity. And let me just say this. I think it goes all the way back to Obama. And I'll tell you where I think it started. He also ran on transparency. And because he was not out there speaking who he was and what he was doing, a narrative was created about him. And then Clinton piggybacked on him, as she should have. But they both should have come out and said what they stood for, and also who was ripping down what was going on, i.e., the healthcare corridor. Mark Rubio is the one that ripped that apart, and I'm pissed that wasn't hammered home.
Yeah,
I'm pissed that, I can name 5 or 6 different things that should have been hammered home.
By the way, it turns out it wasn't just Marco Rubio. He took credit for it. He gave a bunch of speeches in which he took credit for it. The New York Times reported that. But some reporters later did a deep dive, and it turned out there was about a half a dozen Republicans involved in that effort. My
point is that should have been on the forefront, period.
Yep.
The other thing I want to say to the younger kids that said Bernie or bust, now you're going to get to see what it looks like when you stand firm on a conviction without any forward thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my 2 cents on that. Now here's the question: there seems to be no brakes on anything, given that they have the House, they have the Senate. Is there anything in terms of executive orders that Obama could do in order to kind of put the brakes? I don't even know what I'm asking.
A president cannot issue an executive order that cannot be reversed by the next president.
Got it.
They don't have the force of law.
Can we think about where any brakes could be applied?
It's the people. It's we the people. It's Michael Moore wrote a great op-ed this morning, saying, here's my, to-do list, and any Democrat who is not going to stand up and fight the Republicans the way that the Republicans have been fighting Obama for 8 years, now you've got an entirely Republican government. And any Democrat who does not want to join the loyal opposition should get the hell out of the way.
So my request is give us our marching orders. Please have Michael Moore come on and please have him say specifically what we can do now.
Yeah, well, we don't need Michael Moore for that. It's a fairly long list. But I think that right now, first of all, we need to see what they're going to do. Where are they going to go? And then point by point, every time they bring one of these things up, I will be here saying, hey, wait a minute, this is what they did today. We're going to stop that. This is what they did yesterday. We're going to, and let's keep in mind, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. More Americans support her positions and her policies and what she represented than support Donald Trump. More Americans do. And that's called, democracy. We don't have, a functioning democracy when it comes to voting for the president. The Electoral College gives us Republican presidents when the vast majority of Americans want, or even a small majority of Americans want, a Democratic president. And again, with the Republicans controlling the House, the Senate, and the White House, you're not going to see a change in that. But I really believe that they are going to overreach. I believe that they are going to shoot for the moon. They're going to try and Sam Brownback like he did in Kansas. They're going to try and do that to the whole country. And if they do, it is going to crash this country the exact same way that Sam Brownback crashed Kansas. And if that happens, as it did in 1928, keep in mind, this is the first time since 1928 a Republican was elected president along with a Republican Senate and a Republican House. And they went buck wild crazy. They just went nuts in 1928. Oh, yeah, let's just deregulate everything. And of course, you had the great crash in 1929 as a result of that. And if they do that again, and I think there's a very good chance that they will, of course, we'll be calling it out and we'll try to stop it at every point. But if they do, they're going to crash this economy. They're going to take the blame for it. Donald Trump is going to be presiding over a Dow at 6,000 for a year or 2 or 3. I mean, you know, having the crash. See, the reason why Americans didn't get how bad George W. Bush was with his deregulation policies and all that kind of stuff is that the crash happened in the final months of his presidency. If it had happened 2 years earlier, and we had to suffer through 3 years of Republican solutions to you know, a failure of capitalism, then, you know, everybody would have gotten it, and President Obama would have had a Democratic House and Senate and could have been an FDR very, very transformative. He could have done the hope and change that he talked about, but he couldn't. He was completely blocked at every step. So, you know, one of two things is going to happen, as I said in the previous hour. Either they're going to go all Sam Brownback and they're going to overstep and they're going to crash this country, or they're going to do like Ronald Reagan did, and they're going to govern like Democrats and pretend that they're not and call it Republican policies. And they're going to triple the national debt and all that kind of thing. But there's enough people in the Tea Party caucus now, and you know, which is anathema to that, which did not exist during Reagan's time. And there's enough people who are awakened and who have social media, which did not exist during Reagan's time, that I don't think that they can get away with trying to do what Reagan did, you know, triple the national debt in order to prevent the country from sliding into a depression, frankly. So, you know, we'll see. Donna, I got to move along, but thank you for your call. Excellent points all.